The story WWE are currently telling surrounding the undisputed WWE Universal Championship is cinema. A beautiful story of redemption and family that people like Martin Scorsese, Steven Spielberg and Greta Gerwig only wish to tell. And we are getting it thanks to The Rock, something he'll never hear from DC fans. But the story between him, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes keeps building and adding new layers. Last week it was Roman and Dwayne being on the same page and Triple H getting involved. This week it was two bitter rivals getting on the same page to face a higher power. There's going to be no idiot sandwiches in this kitchen with the great story WWE is cooking right now. Cody came out and spoke about how the only reason he is challenging Roman at Mania is because of the crowd and the We Want Cody movement. He shows the footage of The Rock on Pat McAfee's show speaking about the Cody crybabies and where they would stick their McNuggets, which leads Cody to ask where they will go. I'll tell you where. It's in your bum. Cody then says that because The Rock slapped him in front of the public, this means he will slap him back. Go on, Cody, slap a future president. This brought out Cody's sworn enemy Seth Rollins. Cody thanks Seth for having his back at the press conference and Seth replies with, "What can I say except you're welcome?" Very good. Keep it PG. Rollins then explains that he understands why Cody picked Roman as he needs to finish the story for everyone, because if he loses, the whole landscape of WWE could turn into a very dark point. We may never see Roman Reigns defend the title again as he will be gone. Seth then asks if Cody has a plan against Roman and the Bloodline because he isn't just dealing with them, he is also dealing with the biggest star in the entertainment industry. I mean, I wouldn't call The Rock the biggest star in the entertainment industry. He's no Blippi or Peppa Pig. They get stuff done. Rollins then blames himself partially for how Roman is due to their time together. He taught him a lot but didn't see the monster he would become. But then Seth offers to fight with Cody, saying there is only one man who is uniquely suited to be your shield, and leaves telling Cody to think about it. What an incredible promo this was. It made my tummy tingle with anticipation to see how The Rock and Roman reply on SmackDown. It'll be no doubt some acknowledge me, and if you smell what out of touch promo The Rock can churn up kind of thing, but I'll still be here in the SmackDown review loving it. But welcome back to the main event, friends, where we're going to be talking about Monday Night Raw from Lexington, Kentucky. We began with a match set last week between the New Day and Jey Uso and Imperium. It was a pretty fun six-man tag match. I mean, it was all very standard. There was some fantastic work from Gunther throughout the whole match, fearing Jey Uso because, you know, Jey Uso's a guy who needs to be feared, apparently, especially as a single star, not like he's done anything really big on his own. Even though there was a moment where Gunther had Kofi in a Boston Crab, then Jey Uso just gets in the ring and slaps Gunther all over the face. Oh, you felt the pain. In the end, New Day and Jey get the win when Jey pins Giovanni Vinci. I mean, good fight, but the one thing I did take away from this match was Pat McAfee annoys the hell out of me on commentary, and he says some pretty out of line things. So this has led me to make a new segment called Pat McAfee Says the Craziest Things. This is going to be a little segment about the crazy things Pat McAfee says on commentary on Monday Night Raw. And we begin with, Kofi Kingston feels like he's been around for 3 generations. That would make him very old. New Day has been doing this for decades. It's really funny that because the New Day haven't even reached 1 decade together. That comes later in the year. Pat McAfee, do your flipping research. In a segment later in the show, we see Jey in the New Day with Kathy Kelly, and Kathy announces that Gunther next week will be putting the Intercontinental Championship on the line against Jey. Gunther is probably going to win this. We then saw Andrade cut a promo where he said he'd been away for 3 years trying to find his direction in life. I can't remember anything he did in that time. Next, Bobby Lashley took on Bronson Reed in a qualifying match for the Elimination Chamber in Perth, and this was a pretty slow match, I'm not gonna lie. Bronson Reed dominated majority of the match, puts Bobby Lashley into the timekeeper's area, and then Bobby Lashley just comes back at the end and hits Bronson with a spear and qualifies for the chamber, which I did not see coming, I'm not gonna lie. I thought because they're in Australia, Bronson would be in the match, which was a real big shame because he put out a tweet afterwards saying about how he isn't going to make it to the chamber now. Poor guy. Poor guy. Jackie then sits down with Sami Zayn before the show again, and he speaks about the embarrassment of losing, but how it's also been overtaken by the belief in himself, and that he will become champion, but it won't be easy. Then the weirdest thing happened, which really didn't make sense logistically. Shinsuke then appears on the screens and starts cutting a promo on Sami Zayn, which is unbelievably timed, seeing that Sami was having an interview, you know, that not really anybody knew about. Shinsuke's promo is pretty much the same as every other time, you know, yada yada yada, I'm Shinsuke Nakamura, I'm gonna beat you, yada 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 yada, which usually means, hi, I'm cutting a promo, I'm going to lose. Then we got that awesome segment between Cody and Seth. Oh, I'm still thinking about it now. Then we had another qualifying match putting Liv Morgan against Zoe Stark, and all I can think about is, my god, it is so good to have Liv back. Even though she said she was gone for a year, she was only gone for 6 months. Liv tells us Lexington is the first date of the Liv Morgan revenge tour against Rhea Ripley and all the people who doubted her. And then we got into the match and it was very fluid from the get-go. Like, Zoe and Liv work really well together. This thing just kept flowing and flowing. In the end, a failed corkscrew from Zoe set Liv up for an oblivion and she wins, joining Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair in the Elimination Chamber match. Again, a match that Becky is definitely going to win. Judgment Day then walk backstage and R-Truth tags on and Priest tells Truth to basically go away. It's not funny anymore. I'm starting to think the same, to be honest. Damien tells Truth that what's going to happen in the ring is an execution. Before the match starts though, we see Pierce with R-Truth backstage telling him to get out there, but Truth's on the phone to the Miz saying, "Oh, you were right. Judgment Day are going to turn on me. They're not very nice, you know." We then get into the match between JD and R-Truth, and the JD sucks chants instantly start, and Truth starts cracking out all of the John Cena moves. But in the end, McDonough hits the devil inside and actually beats R-Truth 1, 2, 3. Judgment Day then try to attack Truth, but he actually manages to fight them off until Damian Priest gets in the ring and twats him one in the face and knocks him down. DIY then come out for the save. It then made sense later in the night when DIY were telling R-Truth that the Miz called them to go and help him. We then see Cody and Sammy backstage where Cody thanks Sammy for the assist last week that we didn't see on Live Raw. We saw it after the show if you watched on YouTube. Cody then says Sammy isn't the only person who believes in Sammy. He does, and so does the crowd. They then hug and it's all nice and lovely jubbly. Becky Lynch then comes out and talks about how her obsession with wrestling is great and then mentions about missing her father's funeral, which we all knew about, and it's a terrible thing. But then she says the obsession will take her to winning the Elimination Chamber and go up against Mammy. So Becky takes a drink and makes a toast to Mammy's title reign ending soon. Nia then makes her way to the ring and actually asks permission to enter the ring with Becky, which is accepted. Nia then explains she has so much respect for Becky and starts breaking down in what I could say is a Razzie performance, not an Oscar performance. I love Nia, think she's been great since she came back, but don't fake cry, please don't. No, please don't, please, no. She speaks about if her mum had as much respect for her as Becky does her child, she would be lucky, and that she actually believes Becky will win the chamber. But Nia says she's going to beat Rhea in Australia, so it'll be Nia versus Becky, and Nia's already beaten Becky, and will again, you know, yada yada yada. Rhea then comes out and brawls with Nia whilst Becky is still in the ring, and Rhea nearly hits Becky, but stops herself from doing so, but Nia still makes them all collide. Nia then takes out Rhea, but then Becky takes out Nia. Rhea and Becky face off. Rhea then takes out Nia herself. Happy ending. Jackie is then seen backstage with DM Hunk, who says next week he will be facing Cody Rhodes. If Drew's like the favourite to win the chamber and Cody is obviously going to be facing Roman, neither man can really lose this match, so it's probably just going to go out the window, let's be fair. Roman or The Rock's probably going to be on Raw. Next was the final qualifying match of the night as LA Knight took on Ivar. And now we have another segment which I'd like to call, Is Michael Cole talking about horns again? The answer's yes, and it's bloody annoying.
Stop trying to make horns happen. It's not going to happen.
Ivar dominates the early stages of the bout until LA Knight finally hits a beautiful slam. Ivar gets the upper hand again. He misses a doomsault. LA Knight hits the BFT and wins, joining the chamber lineup. This was a pretty good match actually in the long run. Like, there was nothing really stand out apart from the slam, but like Ivar looked really good. But with LA Knight's win, he now joins Drew, Randy Orton and Bobby Lashley in the chamber, with the last two matches coming on SmackDown this week for qualification. But this has actually made me kind of sad because I thought AJ and LA Knight would be battling at the Elimination Chamber. I was half expecting Ivar to pull off a win here, but no. I guess AJ's probably going to get involved in the Elimination Chamber match to set up a match against LA Knight at Mania. Sammy then encounters Drew backstage and Drew tells Sammy to keep his name out of his mouth and nose out of his business. Oh, they're still building this one. We then find out we're going to be getting a last chance battle royal for the Women's Chamber next week. I wonder who's going to win that one. Adam Pearce is then shown backstage with Candy and Indy. Chelsea Green then shows up and says that she deserves a spot because she's a champion. She hasn't been a champion for weeks now. Shayna and Zoe come in saying that they actually wanted to speak to Adam about the Kabuki Warriors, which then made me pop out my seat because remember last week I said about how weird it is that Shayna and Zoe haven't done their tag team title match yet, regardless of being #1 contenders since January the 1st. I'm so happy, look at this smile. But Pearce says that it's going to be members of SmackDown and Raw coming together for the last place. It's still going to be Jade Cargill winning it. Then we had the main event, which was Nakamura versus Sami Zayn, which is a match that I was getting kind of hyped for, but then I still remember NXT TakeOver happened years ago now. Sami gets the upper hand on Nakamura quite early and even does Naka's "Come on!" We got to see some classic Nakamura on show during this match, especially with his sliding German. Sami hits a top rope dive, but he goes quite low over the top rope and lands flat out on his back, and all I thought was ow. Drew then comes out to distract Sami Zayn, you know, because of what happened earlier in the night, and Nakamura uses the distraction to his advantage, hits the Kinshasa and gets the 1-2-3. After the match, Drew and Nakamura beat down Sami Zayn until the savior Cody Rhodes comes out and saves the day. All in all, it was a really good Raw. It actually flew by them 3 hours. I really think they are onto something now with Triple H in charge, especially now they're on the road to WrestleMania. As I've said before, it's getting me very hyped to see what the future of the Cody Rhodes storyline is because this has been great. But what did you think about Monday Night Raw from Lexington? Please leave your thoughts down in the comments. Remember to like the video and hit the subscribe button because, you know, like I said last week, if you don't, you've got a really small willy. I've been Toby. This has been the main event, and I'll see you soon.